What's up everyone? Sorry for the delay between videos, I've been super busy as of lately. Today's tutorial is going to be on EZMode for chefs, a super simple profile converter. When I first got into botting back in August of 2020, I was introduced to EZMode and it made everything super simple for me as a beginner botter. It's very similar to AYCD's profile converter, except AYCD has a lot more tools such as one-click, spoofing, virtual card generating, and a little bit more than that for a little bit different of a price. Let's get started. Alright, now that we have the spreadsheet up, this is located in EZMode's Discord, so you could always ask them, where's the spreadsheet if you can't find it. It's pretty simple. We're going to start with the top left profile name. You can name it whatever. For example, if you're just using straight hard cards, you can name it that. If you're using virtual cards, you can name it virtual card 1, 2, 3, and all the way down for all your profiles. The rest get pretty simple. Email, obviously. Put your Gmails there. Put your catch-alls there. Check out once. That's if you want to use that profile on a foot site and you want it to check out once, you put true. If you were on a site, which let's say Pokemon Center, where you can possibly check out multiple times on one card, you could put false. Or you could just copy those tasks and duplicate them. Card type, card name, super simple. Everything. Card number, CVV, month, year. Obviously, you guys know how to put that in. Now, billing first, billing last, and everything else, you're going to see some confusing stuff. Just go through it. You can put your regular name if you're using hard cards. If you're using virtual cards, you can use other names. Let's start with billing first. So you see it's F name between 2 % signs. That's just the way EZMode works and codes it pretty much to choose a random first name. So let's say you're using virtual cards on a foot site and you've had success with random first names. That's all you have to do. If you want to put your regular name for all your tasks, just put your regular name. I usually keep my last name the same. That's just my way. Moving on to billing line 1. If you use your regular address and have your regular address and have success with that, that works. But if you want to jig it, pretty much, an example for mine is a 4-character jig, so I believe this works still on Supreme. I'm not positive, especially with the new season coming up. This was actually one of my examples for one of the jigs that worked last season. It's a 4-character jig with an apartment jig, which most people don't do that much because you don't jig that much. You're not supposed to jig that much, but it works for me. And everybody's different with their addresses and stuff. So it would pretty much choose a random 4 letters prior to your 15 apple court, as you see right here. Now let's say you usually jig it with, let's say, 3 letters in between, like that, randomly. You would put character 3 between there with the % signs obviously on the outside, and it would do it like that. Moving on to billing line 2, if you don't need it, you don't need to. I'm in a house, so I can jig with apartments. So for Supreme, I would do APT, space, and then in between % signs, character 1, and then in between % signs, num2. So it would choose random character and a random 2 numbers. So it could be, it would randomly come up like apartment A54 or B60, something like that. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. Except for the billing phone, I like doing my area code with 7 random numbers. And that's pretty much how it works. The spreadsheet's super simple, their Discord's super simple, and they're very friendly and can help. Just throw your questions in the Discord and they'll help you out with that. And if you slide over here, it's pretty much the shipping info, since we went over the billing. You don't need the shipping info if it's the same. If you feel safer and you have more success that way, you could just copy paste it over it. Billing line 3, you don't need to worry about that. I believe that's for other countries and stuff like that. So US members, you don't have to do anything over there. And that's pretty much how the spreadsheet works. Okay, one thing I didn't mention was that EZMode requires a TSV file, which means tab separated value. The way you download that is just go to File, Download on your Google Sheets profiles, and go down here to Tab Separated Values. You'll see right above it there's a CSV file. Make sure it's not that one. CSV is for AYCD. TSV is for EZMode, and you'll save it. I already have it saved and put in a folder, so once it's there, you can take it out of your downloads and organize it yourself. For me, mine's already organized, and I'll show you guys how I do everything through here after that. Alright guys, now that you know how the spreadsheet works and how the jigging works for the EZMode spreadsheet, we're going to dive into the program itself and look through the left tab, starting with the settings tab. Now for this left column under jigging, I don't usually touch any of that because I don't mess with raffle botting or any of those settings. But for the middle column here, this is the most important stuff. Make sure it's not on wipe all unless you're purposely trying to wipe all the current profiles in your bot. Generally I keep it on update and add, so that's probably the best thing to keep it on. That's mainly if you want to overwrite the profiles. If you just want to add new, it's pretty simple. You just go to add new. But wipe all will delete everything you have and replace it with whatever you're importing. So generally I keep it on this because most of my profiles tend to stay the same unless I'm adding more from virtual card generation. And this is just the default folder that opens up, and yeah, we'll move over to the profile tab. Okay, so now the profile tab is pretty simple. It's just a default profile, kind of like how the spreadsheet works. If you want to jig it, you could jig it. If you're just using your basic info, you can use your basic info. I don't typically use this because I just use the spreadsheets, and I have them separated by tabs. And yeah, let's move to the conversion tab. Alright, moving on to the conversion tab. Most people generally get confused on the exporting of the profiles, considering nobody ever reads the Discord guides. So local is pretty simple. It just means it's a direct import into the bot. Remote just means it's a file import. Remote is typically good because you could transfer it from instance to instance via the file. You could send it to yourself through a Discord server, or you could send it to a friend if they're running a different bot and export it as that file, or you could send it to your own Gmail. All you'd have to do is click this, find the file wherever it's loaded based on that settings that has the file location. For me, it's this one right here. Let's say I click it, it's gonna load it. It takes a few seconds to load it depending on how big or how many profiles are in that file. Mine might take a few seconds because I think there's about 100 or 200 profiles on this one. Once it's all done, it should go back to this color. It'll brighten back up. And let's say it's a local. I don't have NSB to right now on this, but typically what you would do is just click that bot. Let's go remote. I'll show you how remote works. And let's say it's Velox, and all you have to do is click next. It's going to convert it as a file itself. So now this is the remote version. This is not the local version. Local would directly import it, but I'm not going to show you guys that because I don't want anything overwriting my current profiles. But this is the remote version, so it's going to actually make a file for Velox itself, and it'll pop up. You'll click open folder, and now it'll have a Velox tab right here, and it says EZMode to Velox 213 at 807 in a JSON file. So that is the one it just made, considering it's 807 right now, and those were actually my Footlocker profiles. So what I want to do is call it Footlocker Velox. Now obviously I don't have Velox currently right now, but this is just an example on how remote works. And then what you would want to do if you're super OCD like me, I go into my documents, I make a tab for Velox, and I make it for foot sites and make sure everything's nice and neat, and then you'll have everything organized. And that's pretty much how it works. So it's pretty simple. Make sure you go over the guides. It explains a lot of it. Remote is a lot neater if you want to keep all your profiles loaded, and if you ever are away for the weekend, you can send those profiles to someone you know, and then they can run it for you specific to that bot. So if they have a different bot, you could just export it as their bot itself, like Rush, NSB, Velox, Wrath, TSB, whatever bot or drops happening that weekend. That's pretty much how it works. Local is just a direct import to whatever you have on that instance. So whatever profiles you have, you can directly import it right to it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.